Juice Podcast, a podcast giving you the juice on music news and pop culture, as well as showcasing a blend of artists, entrepreneurs, and local Fort Worth talents. Find out on this episode, who's got the juice?
What's up, everybody? My name is Dennis Jimenez.
And I'm Iris the Vision, and if you're tuning in, then you must be thirsty, but don't worry, we're here to quench your thirst on The Juice.
And tonight, we have a very special guest in the building.
Versè, whichever you prefer.
There you go. Yeah, I was about to say. I'm bad at the names, but
Yeah.
Versè. Let's give a round of applause for Versè.
Versè.
Yeah.
Woo! There's an extra clap
We're
there
doing
for you.
claps on there for you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
I appreciate
yeah.
that. Appreciate that.
He's probably like, what's going on?
He can't hear it, so.
That's funny. Heck yeah, man. Well, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I got the itis right now, so I just munched down some Chipotle. I was telling her earlier. So, yeah, I'm a little tired, a little full, but
Yeah.
I feel like
What
just
was your
right.
order?
I had a bowl, and I had extra steak because I'm on a diet right now. And I know Chipotle is not the ideal, but it's the closest to eating out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like getting protein of your protein intake and stuff like that. So, yeah, double steak, brown rice, pretty much all the sauces.
Making me hungry.
Almost everything, yeah. But
Heck yeah.
that's it.
I'm honestly not that big on Chipotle, but it does hit. Like when
Yeah.
you like the
Every
bowl.
now
I like
and
the
then.
bowls. I can't do the burritos. It's like
Right.
wow.
Yeah, not to
It's
me.
too much.
Burritos, yeah, it's like you gotta,
Yeah.
and it's a little, it's too much work.
I love the burritos,
You love the burritos?
but I like
The
Freebirds
Outcast.
better.
Freebirds? I've never been to Freebirds. I've always heard about it too.
Me neither.
I might have to go there after this.
Yeah. You know that what was it? Oh, Taco Heads. They're doing like a big ass so it's like a burrito challenge. It's like a 8-9 pound burrito.
Oh my gosh.
It's like that
That-
big.
That's
And
like,
it's like $20 or $30, and if like you finish it, it's free. But you got to do it in like 10,
Can
15
you
minutes.
have help?
No, it's like one person. One per.
Damn.
yeah, I have to finish it because I don't
one
even got $30 in my
people for
bank.
burrito. Yeah.
So that's dope though.
So tell us a bit about yourself and where you're from.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I moved here with my mom like in 2008 to Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. But for the most part, besides that, about myself, I grew up like with being artsy as hell. Can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know, but yeah, I grew up artsy as hell. Like when I was 5 years old, I always used to like be with my mom in the salon while she's getting her hair done, and always like Chris Brown is like my number one favorite artist, the guy like who kind of put me on to music in general. So like I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be a singer, all stuff like that. So when he came out with his first album and he came out like first on the radio, that's the first guy I remember hearing since I was like 5. So I wanted to be just like him, and pretty much I would write my own like lyrics over his beats in a notebook, and then I would perform them in the salon for all like the salon ladies, while my
How
mom
old
was
were
getting her
you?
hair. I was like 5-6 years old.
When you were doing that?
Yeah. So like I would, had the
my
stereo with the
gosh.
CDs,
That's
had my
funny.
CD book, and I'd have all his CDs. A little bit of Usher, a little bit of Neo there too. But
Getting all the ladies like, hey, all the
yeah,
moms.
like what's up? With my toys too. I had my action figures. But yeah, I used to like literally just write random ass lyrics over like his own songs, and then like I try and perform them over his own songs while he's singing, to the salon ladies and my mom and stuff like that. So like that's like probably the furthest memory I could like tell y'all from where I started like with music and everything. But yeah, I've always been artistic. Like I draw and stuff like that. And years later when I came here, heard Drake on the radio on that Future song. What is it? I think it was like Tony Montana or something like that.
Tony Montana.
Yeah. So I heard Drake's verse, and I was like on the school bus, and I had my AirPods with the wires, not AirPods, but my Apple headphones with the
damn.
wires and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, if this guy could do it, because at the time he was like such a mediocre looking guy, like a regular looking guy. He wasn't no like superstar rap star.
Right.
And I was like, man, if this guy could do it, I could do it. And I just came home one day and started like recording myself with a camcorder, rapping over instrumentals and stuff. And that's kind of how this whole thing took off. But yeah.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what surrounds my life, and who I am is like music, and just being creative, like drawing or painting and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you've always just like been like a creative, just drawing and shit, and like.
Yeah, I mean, too, like another on my dad's side of the family, I used to like draw pictures and like try and sell them to my grandpa. And so, I mean, he'd give me like $1 or $2 for them and stuff like that. So like I grew up just being artistic, trying to like recreate drawings or paintings and stuff like that. And then obviously I started doing my own stuff. And then even to this day, like I'm now digitally drawing and stuff. So like a lot of stuff you see on my Instagram, that's like artwork or whatever, like I pretty much do that myself. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
So you like do graphic design or not?
Yeah.
Like Photoshop at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good because like you kind of got an upper hand on a lot of artists, because I feel like that's one thing that a lot of artists, like, they're focused on the music, but then it's like it comes down to like their marketing, like how are you gonna put it out there, how's it gonna look when you put it on Instagram and stuff.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, a lot of that does, like, it matters. It really does matter, especially nowadays.
Times have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Not facts.
Yeah, but so like
yourself.
you know, having that skill also, it's like you're kind of ahead of like the herd,
For sure.
doing it that way. But do you know how to like? I've seen your like content on your Instagram and stuff. Like, do you do all the videos and stuff yourself, or?
So when it comes to like, you know, those videos of like with the lyrics like above me, or you know, like stuff like that while I'm rapping into the camera or into a mic, that looks very iPhone-esque. Like I do stuff like that, but when it comes to like, you know, I don't know, like I recently did like a whole series of like freestyles to Drake's Scary Hours 3 instrumentals, and so like all of those,
I think I've seen. Didn't you have like a video series for that too? Like
yeah. So like I pretty much was like, you know what, if he's dropping the instrumentals, you know, it's kind of like the first time like a rapper's really done that, where he dropped the, you know, the mixtape of an EP or whatever it is, and then he drops the instrumentals. I think the only person I know that did that was Metro, but it was like, you know, those are his beats, you know. So, and he's a producer, so it's like it's what's the word? I can't even find a word. It was almost predictable that he was going to do that. But with Drake, I didn't expect him. He was like, you know, all the bar spitters, here's the instrumentals. And I was like, well, shit, like right now I'm more into like a singing era, kind of touching back to like where I started. You know, practicing my singing for years now, and I'm really getting in tune with that. But I was like, damn, like if he's dropping those instrumentals, like I gotta do some rap shit to it. So yeah, all those videos that I did for that, that are on my Instagram, my boy Leo did that. So he's been like pretty much in charge of all my music videos, whether it's, you know, an actual full length music video or like a content, like Instagram content videos, you know, like vertical stuff and things like that. Like for the most part, he does all that. We definitely throw out ideas at each other, and we kind of balance like the work scale on that. And when it comes to ideas, like he doesn't have full control. I definitely like to put my input, and he's definitely open to that too, because obviously, you know, everybody doesn't have all the ideas in the world. Right. So
that's important too, because, you know, going back to like, you know, you still knowing how to do Photoshop and make your own content, it's still also good to have somebody on your side that can help you with like collaborating and also seeing your vision that'll like kind of help you do even better.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, having a team like that, it's good to link up with somebody that like kind of aligns with you, and it's like, all right, we're gonna do this and this, and trading ideas too. That's important.
Right. No, for sure. And I think too, to like just to add, a reason why we connect so well is because like back in like 2015, 16, we met each other through like working at Taco Bell. That Taco Bell that's right there.
Garden Acres?
Yeah. So I worked there when I was like 16, and he was like the manager there. So that's generally how we met.
Funny.
And he trained me and everything. And I used to like sell weed at the time. So it was like we just worked the night shift. So like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, we get off, and he'd buy some, we smoke. And then like I started like playing him some of my music, and he was just like, oh, this is nice. He gave me feedback, whatever. Fast forward like a couple months, I had went to Chicago to finish my senior year of high school, and I had flew him out one day. Well, I didn't fly him out. He had like the, what do you call it? The plug on planes and stuff like that. So he ended up coming out for like a weekend, and like he bought a whole camera, like cheap ass camera, and we did a video because he said he wanted to do a video, and then that's how he started his journey. So like I think that's why we connect so well and why we work together so well, is because like we
kind of started
together and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's cool.
So yeah.
One question: Did you ever sell any weed through the drive-thru?
All right, so
allegedly,
there's been a couple customers that I've traded certain stuff for other stuff, and there's times where some customers too would be like, hey, I'll let you hit the blunt if you give me a free freeze. Like, you know, I'm like, well, I can't, you know, like it's night shift, nobody's watching. so yeah, allegedly that happened.
Dang.
But yeah. Good times.
I'd be too scared to do any of that kind of stuff. Like I was always, growing up, you know me, I was always just like terrified to have any fun or do anything that would get me in trouble. That's right. I feel like I kind of like, I was like a plague to anybody that came around me that was like that. And like, I kind of just, I'd never like force anybody to do anything, but like, I think my vibes were so like, they're like, we want to do this, like, you know, and it's like, it's like almost they want
like
the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, it's like an infection. I like spread it to other people, but you know, everybody around. Well, it gets boring, like being really good all the time. Right. Yeah, for sure. I was definitely the opposite. Like since I was little, man, I was. If you ask my mom, I'm the headache of her life.
She's a badass kid.
Yeah. Not for sure, but yeah.
No, I was like that. I was like the black sheep. I feel like I have my moments, though. I feel like I have my moments. You were not the black sheep. At one point, yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody has, like, their era of, like, yeah, I am the black sheep, or I am the
my mom would
you know,
be
or
like,
you get blamed or something, like, for a lot of shit for a certain amount of, you know, time.
Right.
Yeah, but that was me my whole life.
Well, so, for sure, my mom, she's Latina, so she's like, you know, you got to come home at this time. You can't stay at nobody's house. I'm like, what? Yeah. And so like I started sneaking out and shit. Like, you know, I don't know if y'all
going to raves.
Nah, yeah, my mom was the same for sure. But I just generally never gave a fuck what she had to say. And I love my mom, respect her to death, you know, especially now. I know. But yeah, at the time I just never gave a fuck. I was like, yeah, you're gonna do what you're gonna do to me, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So, dude, I remember I'd come home and she'd be like, all sad, like, I'd stayed up late at night waiting for you to come home, and I'd hear ambulances, and like, oh my gosh,
dramatic.
Yeah. Oh no, she would even like even before like I was like, you know, drinking and stuff, like in high school, like middle school, like everyone was like, hey, let's go over. Middle school. Like even before that, like people would be like, hey, we're gonna come over to your house and hang out, or like somebody else's house, like another friend. Yeah. And I'd ask my mom, hey, like all my friends are going to this guy's house. And she's like, no, look, I heard on the news the other day that some guy like killed all these kids that came. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, here we go. Never mind, let me just stay home.
That's funny. I know a couple people that have moms like that.
Yeah, mine was not anything like that. I mean, I lived on my own at like 16, so yeah. No.
But you were still.
I did like anything that I wanted, but I didn't want to do anything bad.
I hear that.
Now it's different.
Now I want to do everything bad in the world. No, I feel that.
Not everything, but
no.
So
shout out to moms.
Do you like produce your own music, or do you have a producer that you work with, like a main producer?
Yeah. So at a time I was like, so I'd say like after I graduated high school, when I moved to Chicago to finish my senior year, prior to that, I had a best friend since 4th grade. His name is Gabe, but his producer name is IMG. And he was always like a musically inclined person. I mean, his dad is the pastor of a church. His older brother's a singer and a drummer. And that's like initially how I got involved with even just recording. Like my first stuff is through him and his brother. So I've known him since 4th grade. He would always, you know, tap on the desk and beatbox and stuff like that. And then one day, like everybody knew his older brother. His name's Fred B. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but that's his name. His name's Fred B. And he was like popular within school, but then like his music was kind of taking off like within Fort Worth. So like then we'd go outside and people would be like, Fred B, oh my God, you know, and I'd be like, this guy is famous or something, like, you know, who is him? And so anyway, I just found out that, you know, IMG produced for his brother. Like a lot of his songs, IMG produced it for his older brother to sing on, and then they recorded themselves and stuff like that at their house. And so when that happened, I was like, yeah, let me hit up these guys, you know, to see what I could do to like start recording my own stuff, because I was just getting a camcorder, like I said, and freestyling in a camera and like the beat in the background and uploading it to YouTube. But I was really trying to take it serious. And so yeah, he had came over, him and his older brother, they downloaded Pro Tools, stuff like that. And that they showed me how to record myself. I saved up for a mic, which was that mic. It was the red version though. Okay. And that was my first mic that I had bought. And so it was like, cool, now I get to recorded my first song. I think I was like in 8th grade. And then from there it was kind of history. He like came over every weekend, started producing stuff for me, or I'd go to his house, and we just link up. Like I'd ride my bike all the way to his house just to like record the whole day. So for the longest, he was producing for me, and to this day, he still is. But when I moved to Chicago in 2017, or to finish my last year, 2016, 2017, to finish my last year of high school, he obviously lives here, and I was over there, and I was like, I have nobody, I don't know nobody who knows. So I like forced myself to learn. And so from there, I started producing all of my own stuff. And then from there, I actually went to college for music at Full Sail University. And I like had the summer after we graduated to like link up with him and have him produce for me whatever he could. But that summer was mainly like, it was like my first summer of freedom, because every year in high school, like I was always in trouble, or I was, you know, I couldn't do shit, or if I did do shit, it was like I would have to sneak off and do it. And, you know, and if I got caught, I'd be in more trouble. So it's like I was on lockdown for like almost my whole like high school career. And like, so after I graduated, came back, that was like the first summer I had like pure freedom. And I was 18, so my mom really couldn't say shit. And then I was going to college in September, so I was like, yeah, let me just live it up. So I mean, I produced every day that summer, but at night, and then the day I was like just wilding out, having fun, and really not even focused on music. And then yeah, once I got to college, I was there for like 2 years and produced everything myself. Like my first album that I made it's called Night Owl. Produced everything on there. IMG, he did like have a couple assists on some tracks that he produced. And then what do you call it, the next album that I dropped was like Versè, and he produced like half of those, you know, from afar. I was still in college and he was out there, but he sent me beats and we kind of worked that way. And then after that was over with, I came back. We made like, I don't know, over 50 songs the year of COVID. We made over 50 songs because I think we were both like we need to lock in, you know, like, and like really create some stuff that we can both do right here and right now. And so when that happened, I kind of slowly fell back from producing, and I just let him take the wheel. And I just inputted my ideas on what we could do, you know, how we could do it. But for the most part, ever since then, he's kind of been taking the wheel, producing all of my stuff. And so since then, I haven't produced really. And when I tried to get back on it, it was like I didn't have the same motivation to do it. I'm more like, let me write. I need to learn. I need to like practice and hone my writing and how I can make things relate or say one line. And for some people that hear it, it's like a million words, you know, so stuff like that. So like that's what I'm in love with. And even right now, like from melodies to writing and how I can relate it to the masses is like my main focus. So yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to like some of the music and stuff, and I feel like your older stuff till I guess it was a new EP that you dropped. Maybe I'm the problem. Yep. Yeah, I feel like you've leveled up for sure since then. Like like the sound and everything, and your writing and all that too. I feel like it sounds like a lot better for sure. And I feel like too, like you were, excuse me. I feel like you were also kind of like trying different styles, and like kind of playing around with like what might be your next sound or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so a lot of that, like from Night Out to Controversy to there's one EP album. It's considered an album on like streaming and stuff, but I consider it an EP. It's called Too Many Humans, Not Enough Souls. And that one, from that point, even some of the singles, you know, prior to that I dropped, like Me or Not, Setbacks, I feel like all of that was like experimentation to what I'm creating right now. And I didn't know it at the time. I thought like, you know, I was the best rapper, singer alive. You know, I thought I was doing everything true to me, which I was. But like everything that we're working on now, from Maybe I'm the Problem to what we're doing now, I feel like all of that was like almost like a setup to like, all right, this is what you're supposed to be making. This is your sound, you know, this is what you're good at. And it was a lot of experimentation. Looking back at it now, some stuff is very cringy back then, I feel like, but a lot of it, you know, that had to happen.
Yeah, it's like testing the waters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, just growing too.
Seems like you try like to perfect one thing at a time to see what you really like. And that's, I think that's really good for people to do, because I like to try all different things too. Like, even with food, like I like to try all different kinds of food. Some people just stick to one thing, but I'm not that kind of person. I like to try all different things.
Facts, yeah. And even looking back, you know, now it's like those were different time periods of my life. You know, like from the beginning to now, it's like when I listen to them, it's like, damn, it's almost like thinking back on a memory of like, you know, that summer or like that winter that you had.
Going through at that time.
And it's like, okay. And then obviously for me, I don't know about anybody else, but I could definitely see the growth within me as a person, not even just the artist or like what it sounds like. It's just like what I was talking about on Night Owl was like just smoking and doing everything I was doing at the time. And then now it's like, okay, I'm touching on a lot of things, you know, I'm touching on females, I'm touching on, you know, heartbreak or like going through life, you know, being broke as hell one day and then being up the next month or whatever it is. So it's like, I feel like for sure everything's matured from, like I said, the writing, what I've been focusing on, and also the production. Like IMG, he's definitely killing shit when it comes to the production. And with me and him, it's almost like me and Leo's like, we lock into the studio, he could like be touching the keys for like 2 seconds and I'm already creating like a hook or a melody. And then from there it's just like butter. It just happens like it's supposed to. But yeah, for sure.
Heck yeah.
If you could pick one song for everyone to listen to right now that you made, what song would it be?
That's a hard one.
So they can kind of like see like who you are as an artist, kind of. Well, I mean, it would be hard with one song, but
yeah, I would say number one song right now, like that, like kind of like grasps the sound that I have now, but also like tells who I am as a person. Is probably Sleeve, the song Sleeve, which is on Maybe I'm the Problem. It's the last song, because that song, that whole EP is like definitely a sound that we created. You could definitely hear influences from other artists, but that song specifically, it grasps that sound and also what I talk about, which is a lot of my life, you know, I've always been, what do you call it? I've shown more effort than people gave me. I think everybody can relate to that. But for me, it's like, from friendships to, you know, relationships, to even like relationships with my, you know, my parents or my tias, my uncles, like stuff like that. Is like, I've definitely shown more than what people gave me, and that song completely like kind of tells that story, and it's definitely relatable. I feel like everybody goes through that or has felt that at least with one person in their life. So yeah, Sleeve is the one song I choose.
Sleeve.
Yeah, listen to that one. We'll put a link to it.
For sure.
We have to put a link to it.
Yeah.
So where's like your favorite place to go on vacation?
I've been to a lot of places. Like I'd probably say the one place I do want to go back to that I feel like I haven't explored too much was Turks and Caicos.
Fancy.
Yeah, my mom is a big traveler, and so like growing up, you know, I mean, we came from Chicago. Like we were sharing a bed. It was the three of us, me, my brother, and my mom. We were like 1-bedroom apartment, you know, like worrying about if we have enough hot water, if the water's gonna turn off, stuff like that. So it's like we come from that, and my mom was definitely trying to get away from that. And so once she finally moved here, it's very suburban over here. It's very, you know, definitely more middle class, and up there from what we were used to. So it's yeah, she was like that was her dream as a kid. Like, I want to travel, you know, I want to go everywhere. And so she obviously brought us along because we were kids at the time. So she was like, yeah, let's go on a cruise. Let's go on, you know, let's take a flight to Cancun, or let's go do this. Let's go to Jamaica, or let's like stuff like that. And obviously a lot of the time it was all paid for me and my brother, because she had really no choice. But she definitely wanted to like have those experiences with us as well.
Yeah.
And she made it clear. But yeah, we've been to a lot of places. So, but one place, like I said, I'd probably go back to Turks and Caicos and explore a little more, because I went there on a cruise and it was like one of the stops. So it was like
1 day, right? To just
it wasn't even a full day. It was like it was like, all right, you got 6 hours and then be back on the boat, you know.
Yeah.
And like, so when we got off, we ported like on this, there's like a boardwalk all the way to the boat, and then once you reach the end of the boardwalk, there's like beautiful ass beach. Obviously the ocean is right there. So we kind of just stayed there the whole time and got drunk and stuff like that. But we didn't really explore the island or nothing like that, or go further than, you know, what I would have liked to. But from just that perspective, it was like, damn, like this seems like a cool ass.
I think Drake said that's like his like favorite vacation place, Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, he there's like a spot where he's like he goes to, I forgot what he calls it, but it's like, I think it's like he made that like his area, you know, like, and so like he
Epstein
has,
Island. That was
crazy. But yeah, he made
Drake
that,
Island.
Drake Island, right? OVO. But yeah, so Turks and Caicos for sure.
It's more like Diddy Island.
What do you think of like the beef happening between Drake and Kendrick right now?
Whose side are you on?
I'm definitely OVO all the way. I'm a Drake stan.
Oh man.
But I can't knock Kendrick. You know,
Right,
like
right.
you
They're
know,
both goats. I mean,
for sure.
They're both goats.
But it's like Kendrick's been doing stuff like this for, I wouldn't say like a consecutive while, but he has his moments where, you know, he comes out the woodworks and he just says fuck everybody. And
but I want to know what made him so mad specifically at that moment to inspire him right there.
Kendrick?
Kendrick. Like, what made him be like, nah, fuck this. I'm coming out and saying fuck you, Drake. Like, what was that moment where he just snapped?
Well, if you do like the history, like the run timeline back, they've always
but there has to be one thing though.
Petty. It's like kind of a little petty beef.
So like the Controverse, when that dropped, it was like he said fuck everybody, even Big Sean, and that was Big Sean's song,
right?
But everybody made it a big deal that he dissed Drake. Like he said, you know, Drake. Oh my God, Drake. And maybe it's because of course it's the media, but it's like maybe it's because, you know, at the time Drake, I mean, even to this day, he's like still popping and shit like that, and everybody uses his name. But I think that's why they emphasized it on the Controverse, and they kind of like took that. And then Drake is a subliminal god, so it's like
Six God
on a diss. If you hear it, a lot of people have speculations, but the person that they're dissing is gonna know that they dissed you. So it's like, it's like, I'm sure like a lot of subliminals Drake threw, Kendrick, you know, heard and was like, you know, oh, this guy wants to play this game, you know, and so back and forth they go. But I think because of the whole J. Cole and Drake link up,
Kendrick felt some type of way.
He probably felt some type of way and was like, you know what,
the girl, she's like,
you know what, let me tip the scale over here and let me just cause, you know, mayhem and like, you know. And I think
because he can,
right, and it's like a lot of people like, they're like, oh, where's Kendrick been? You know, he doesn't drop great music, or he hasn't, you know, dropped anything. And I'm like, that's really not the point. It's like, Kendrick knows, and I think the world knows, is that, bro, this guy can rap, and he can rap when he wants. Like, it's like with the touch of his finger, he could fucking go crazy if he wants to. Right. It doesn't matter how many years, you know, he hasn't been putting out great music like that, or like constant music that sounds like dislike, or with the way he delivered it. Because everybody was like,
or like the mainstream sound, like he's not going with,
or like his last album was like very boring to people, and it's like I think he made that for himself more than he made it for y'all. And what y'all wanted. So I wouldn't even like consider that to be an issue, or like something to involve in this conversation of like the beef. I think, bro, y'all check his albums, y'all check like his freestyles, bro. He could rap. You know, like, and he could do it when he wants. It's like he doesn't have to do it on command for y'all.
And his voices that he does, like, just his like different flows is amazing.
I feel like he was just like looking at everything like, man, this shit just seems really stale, really repetitive.
That too.
Let me just shake it up real quick. Like, let me just put this out and see. And that was the whole point of the Control verse, I feel like. And a lot of they interviewed a lot of, I've seen a video where it's kind of going through the timeline of like the beef. And when he dropped that Control verse, they actually interviewed a lot. They put a lot of clips of the different artists that he called out. And a lot of them were like, you know, it's competitiveness. He's trying to just, you know, get us to go out there. A lot of them were saying that. The only one that took it wrong was Drake. They got him on an interview, and he was like, it was like
50-50, because he did that Nothing Was the Same interview in front of like a big ass crowd. And you could tell he was a little salty, but he still like came out with the opinion like it's rap, you know, like he could, you know, but like, of course, Drake is the subliminal god, and instead of him being somebody like Kendrick, which is, I'm gonna come out with my chest and say your name, you know, on the track. With Drake, I think he likes to do mental warfare. He likes to be very petty. To make you like think,
but I mean, Kendrick did the same thing with his shoe.
Or am I going crazy?
He's the if the shoe fits kind of person.
Right, for sure. So I think Drake definitely still takes some stuff salty, in my opinion. Even though I'm a Drake stan, like I admit it, like I don't care.
If I was Drake, I would be pissed off because I think it was kind of rude. Like the stuff he said, I was like, why is he being so mean? That's why I'm like, he really was like.
Well, it's not even just Kendrick too. You got to add Future in there now too.
Everyone was involved in it.
Bro, I went down.
What's going on? Like, what's really going on? I went down a whole
rabbit hole with this shit. All right,
what's really going on?
It's definitely a lot to explain, right? But if you listen to her loss, so they say it's about a female, right?
Yeah,
the Future and Metro thing.
Yeah,
they say it's about a female, which I'm like still 50-50 to believe in. Like if that's true, I know for Metro, like that's true. Because Metro's girl got, you know, ran through, and I don't know if Drake was one of the guys who ran through her.
Drake is that guy. He's been known to do that. He did that to Lil Wayne's girl too.
That's wild. And I'm glad that they're still friends.
That's when Lil Wayne was in jail too.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, he called him out like on an interview.
But then Lil Wayne even was like, yeah, he did that.
Yeah, he's like
what do you want me to do? Like, you know. But that's why we fuck with Lil Wayne. Yeah. But yeah, Lil Wayne's the GOAT. But so I think Metro was definitely started being salty about Drake for that. And then
Future, right?
Years go by, whatever, and then I guess Future, same thing. At this point with the rabbit hole I went down, I'm not sure if like Drake is mad over a female and then sends shots, or if Future was mad, talk shit, and then it just brought Drake to like, let me send these shots. Right. So if you guys listen to Her Loss, a lot of it, there's somebody he's talking about. There's a lot of disses in there, subliminal disses that he's saying. And even Yachty was, before Her Loss dropped, they were asking him about Her Loss and like, you know, what's to come on that, you know, and the one thing he said is like, there's a lot of shit, you know, that he's saying about certain people, but he can't help it. He's just real, you know, he's just doing him and saying, you know, his reality. So I think that kind of is more proof, like to be like, okay, he's talking about somebody. There's some shit going on, right? And then there's like some Twitter thread that I read, and it was like the song More M's, and they were like word for word, you know, and they brought up receipts of like, so one of the lines that I can remember off top is like, what happened to the guy that claimed OVO we traded him, and everybody was like, is it about Metro? Is it about The Weeknd? You know, because Drake and Weeknd got a little what do you call it, rocky relationship too. Right. And it's like, well, it's not that, because they never claimed OVO. The only person that claimed it to like the death of them was Future. And they showed receipts. They showed Future wearing OVO merch. They showed the chain with the FBG and the OVO owl. And then they showed, you know, even tweets like that Future tweeted like FBG times OVO. And it's all in the songs, like with What a Time to Be Alive. Like they claimed that all. So it's like the only person that could go to is Future.
Yeah.
And so then they go down the list of like lyrics from that song. And it's just like mind blowing that, okay, it's like it's not coincidental. Like it's too much of a coincidence for it to be a coincidence. Like,
I heard
you know,
too that like, so isn't there a song on the new album Princess Diana, and like supposedly the girl's name was Diana,
right?
Or she's like a stripper named
Which
Diana.
Is what's crazy
Dirty
is
Diana
and then
is like always been a thing.
Well, yeah, but
So-
but then on I think Her Loss, he did a song called "What Would Future Do" or something like that.
What would Pluto do? That was on For All the Dogs.
Okay.
So
And
everybody
supposedly,
thought,
that's like
everybody,
they were trying to like, I don't know, they took it a different
That's
way
what
then, but now
confused me.
that's what I was gonna
too.
say is like people were like, oh,
I thought they were still cool because of that
right,
song. When
and he
that came
thought,
out.
you know, everybody thought the fans was like, oh, he's giving Future his flowers.
Right,
what would Pluto
right.
do? But if you look at it now, it's
Yeah,
like
now it's fucked up.
means something different.
It's
now.
like, what would Pluto do? He fucked the hoe, so I did it.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to the first track off of We Don't Trust You, which is what Future just dropped, he talks about, you know, that how they're falling over about a hoe, like I can't, you know. And so now it's just like
Drake likes sloppy seconds. That's what I'm.
or it's vice versa.
I think he just likes
Because
anything.
He just wants to take over everything.
What has me confused on that is because they said that if it is about a bitch, like they're pillow talking, because both of them are talking about women that pillow talk with them. So if you know, like,
Oh my gosh.
you know, rappers, you know, they fuck a lot of the same girls. So it's like if they're pillow talking, what do you call it? If they're pillow talking, then what brought Drake?
messy.
Right, what brought Drake to throw subliminals first? And it's like if y'all were talking shit, pillow talking to women, and then Drake obviously messed around with the same women, and then he found out about the shit talking through them.
True.
It's like, so y'all was talking shit first. And then so that brought him to Her Loss, talking all that shit. And then We Don't Trust You is just now a reaction to what the fuck he's been saying.
Yeah, this whole damn time.
So that's like where I'm at. And I'm like, but I'm still confused if Future's mad about a girl, because bro, how can Future be mad about some shit like that?
Maybe
Future.
he's just tired of Drake's shit.
Maybe
He's like seen it like so much, and he's just like, fuck this. Like, I'm just so done with it. And
Maybe.
I don't know. That's what I feel like. I feel like everyone's getting tired, because if you see, like, there's a lot of people that are like unfollowing him and all that.
Right.
I'm like, damn, they're all over Drake right now.
Hey, I'm just saying, yeah, I don't. That's where I'm at. I mean, I fuck with all of them. You know, they can never make me choose a side.
Yeah,
so,
same.
But it is OVO to the death of me. I fucking love Drake. I'm a Drake stan, and yeah.
I went to the Drake concert and I felt like some really weird energy. And then, well, I've always like, I don't know, feel like he says some weird shit. Like, I'm possessed. You can see it under the contacts. Like, hop about the bed like I'm possessed. Like that kind of shit.
Drake been on Demon Time.
So I'm like,
Drake been on Demon Time.
there's something. I feel like there's something a little bit like evil about him sometimes.
And it's kind of
For
funny
sure.
too, because you can see like Kendrick is like would be Jesus.
Yeah,
And Drake would be
is
like the devil.
Like Drake has like
Even though
literally,
Drake's the nicest
at the
guy,
concert, he
like-
said, "Okay, let's make a sacrifice." But he was talking about someone getting slimed. But the way he said it, like there was all this fire like behind him, and then he stepped off the stage and was like, "All right, time to make a sacrifice." And I'm like, I was like, no, I don't want to be part of the ritual right now.
I think it's stuff like that gets people like, oh yeah, he's Illuminati.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying Illuminati. I'm
Or
saying
like, you know,
maybe like
weird
an
shit.
antichrist.
You know, like weird shit like that. But I do definitely think like Drake, you know, he's definitely a middleman. You know, he's if you want to consider him like even from his upbringing, he's like the average middle class guy.
Right.
You know,
and he's Canadian.
What if he was chosen to be Drake? Like they saw him on Degrassi and they were like, okay, that's the guy that we're gonna make into this giant superstar. and they chose him.
Okay,
So
then
who's they?
Hollywood, the government.
Diddy. No,
Damn.
Diddy.
Well,
That's
a new
because Drake doesn't fuck
conspiracy
with
theory.
Diddy.
No, yeah, didn't Diddy slap him, or was that J. Cole?
J. Cole, I think.
Yeah, I think it was J. Cole.
But I think they had like an altercation too, like him and Diddy.
I know for sure, like Drake does not fuck with Diddy, and I mean, if you even go with the history, you don't see anything about them together, nothing like that.
You know what? I feel like at a point maybe that could have been a thing. Like maybe Diddy would have signed him or something, but
Hollywood protected Drake.
No, Lil Wayne did. I feel like Lil Wayne signed him. Like he was just like, yeah,
he was with the right people for his well-being.
For sure. But I think that's also what goes into like y'all thinking like, he's evil or whatever it is that, like I said, he was the average guy.
For me. It's his lyrics.
He was the average guy, but this industry and this, I mean, just with the Diddy talk and things like that, like it's an evil industry, And sometimes, sometimes you got to become somebody in order to protect yourself.
I'm kind of looking at it now, like I look at it somebody like The Rock. He's in wrestling too. You got to think like there's the good guys and then there's the villains. Right. The Rock plays that perfectly.
And you like the happy medium or like a good guy.
I think a happy medium because growing up, The Rock was my when I watched wrestling, I was like The Rock, dude. I remember crying one time because he got jumped. I remember that so bad. I was watching wrestling at my house and it was like my dad. Dude, I was watching it and like him and it was Triple H and those guys because what was it, the DX generation?
Yeah.
So it was like his crew and then The Rock was out there talking. They came out and jumped him, and I started crying, bro. I was like, no, The Rock. My dad came out and was like, what's wrong?
The Rock, he got jumped.
And he was like, oh, man.
I think he's definitely a villain now. Like the new shit that, on WWE and stuff that he's doing. I think I recently
seen that, yeah. He's going crazy.
Like, I'm like, bro, you're becoming somebody, that everybody's going to hate. Like,
but a lot of people are saying he's reviving like that type of
that
they're
energy.
Saying the PG era is over now.
Oh yeah,
people are saying that.
I could definitely see that because I mean there was a Twitter video that I seen or X video where the camera supposably stopped.
I seen that, yeah.
And I think it was
he was like getting mad.
Yeah, I don't know who
Cody
it was.
Rhodes guy.
I think so.
Blonde dude.
I couldn't tell who it was, but yeah, camera stopped and he's like, "Oh, fuck your script." And he's like, just fucking whip slash the fucks out of it. I'm like, oh, that's...
He's like mad at the executive.
He's like, you see that
producer.
blood or whatever? Like wipes his blood, like and I'm like, that's entertaining.
Yeah, that's the shit we used to watch back in the day on
that's what I'm saying. It's like, so like that was just to go off what you were saying. Like, yeah, you're definitely right about he's bringing that shit back, and it's like I think that's what people need. People now are soft as hell. So
true that. Well, one thing I kind of going back to the Drake and Kendrick stuff.
Yeah.
What if all this is just a marketing thing? Like it kind of reminds me of the whole Kanye and 50 Cent like fake beef that they had so they can sell the most records.
I mean, you got to remember it's also an entertainment industry.
I have a different theory.
Okay.
I think the media is distracting us from some other shit that's really happening.
Probably.
Like that's why this is going I don't know. There's some other weird shit happening. All around, and it's not just reported that much.
Y'all never heard of what Ice Cube said like a couple years back? He was on, I forgot what interview it was, but he admitted like to rap and hip hop and like just music in general being one big distraction. And it's like, of course, these are all real jobs, this real entertainment stuff. People are rapping for real, but in hindsight, that's why like the government and stuff like that they push that on the media. Why do you think like
Sexy Red?
Yeah, that's a big one.
I like Sexy Red though. I kind of hated her at first.
Yeah, I like it too. But
I hated her at first, but I'm like, okay.
But like to push that like so hard on kids and stuff.
But you feel me? And
like, to me, I'm like that shouldn't be their role model.
Of course,
no, for sure.
And not to like go down a deeper hole. Just real touch is like the whole like Gaza Israel stuff. It's like. You heard that on the internet for like I don't know a good month, and it was real like viral, it was real popular, and then it got washed out by like all this music shit. Yeah, it got washed out about like movies, like washed out.
I don't necessarily think it was all. Yes, it was part of that, but I think a lot of it too was like it was too raw, bro. I was seeing so many videos. I had to like get off Instagram at one point. I was like, there was too much that I just could not see.
But I think people need to see that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that
it should be on your mind
because it is reality.
What's happening.
It is reality. Like
it's real.
And that's one thing I was telling everybody is like, you know what's crazy is like we're over here arguing about like what we're about to eat, and there's fucking
kids I think about that shit all the time.
Like,
it's like,
and I just couldn't even like around that time, bro. I just felt really depressed and shit. I was like, dude, this sucks. Right. Like I don't know.
Not for
even
sure.
now, like it's still going on. It's still like, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on for years.
It's getting worse.
And it's getting worse.
So I feel like for sure it's like, you know, music and it's all real shit, like real jobs, like I said, but it's definitely being used as a tool to distract, you know, the American people. Because if I'm not mistaken, I haven't done like my deep research, and I don't want to get nothing wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, you know, if I'm not, America is on the wrong side, you know, they're supporting the wrong side. So it's like for us to like if the people knew, the American people knew,
I wouldn't say we, but the government's kind of instigating everything. Like,
for sure. And we've done that throughout history. I mean, we've put our heads in shit that we weren't even supposed to.
All about these conspiracy theories. Look, it says unsolved conspiracies. We got to read that in a minute.
That's crazy. You got a whole book.
I do. I love conspiracy theories.
So for sure, I definitely think on stuff like that too. But you know, who knows? You know, what can we do? You know.
Yeah, man. I used to be that person that would definitely be like, "Oh, we got to do better." Like, I'd be posting on like Facebook and shit. Like wake up and you know, I'd be on that woke shit, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I was on that early on, and like nobody, like it'd be crickets, and
people
would look at me like I was crazy.
Stuff.
I'd be like, what?
Right.
And then I feel like, you know, I stopped being like that because of that, because I was just, not that like I'm not still that person, like I still like care about people. And
it's like, what can we do like further than like doing an Instagram post or putting it on our story? Obviously that makes like a lot of awareness, right? But what can we do to, you know, that's my question, is like, all right, people are mad because, you know, certain people don't repost it or they don't put it on their story to spread that awareness, but it's like, what do we do beyond that?
Well, I mean, there's like protesting and that kind of stuff, or like petitioning, or send care packages, like donate money to like at least help out in those kinds of ways. But I think that people are just like overlooking that part of it. Like they're just looking out for like the awareness, but then there's like other things you can actually do. Right. But people don't really think about that because they just like look at a post and then move on to the next thing. For sure.
I think another thing too is like what's stopping people, a lot of people here, people that want to do stuff but they can't, because I feel like there's like, bro, we're in a recession, man. We're like, there's inflation. Like people got to work 3 regular jobs just to like have a place like this, you know, unless you're like, you know, blessed enough to, you know, have a good enough job where I just have one job and I can afford this and things like that. And it's like, I mean, even for me, like I stay with my mom right now. It's like, and I've been applying for like, I don't know, 4 months for a job. I mean, I'm a barber, but I'm not licensed, so I'm not in a shop, so I'm not making constant money. But, you know, I make enough money to pay what I need to pay for, but not enough to like live in my own crib or like you know, pay for my own groceries like fully, you know, like definitely help out with my mom and stuff like that. But it's like damn, like I've been applying literally almost 2-3 times a day to jobs that I don't even know what it is. I'm just like bro, whatever it is, bro, I'm down. But then it's also like jobs too, it's like they want to pay you $12-$16 an hour but work you for 10 hours every day, and it's like, what am I really working for if I need to pay for the $1,700 apartment and then buy groceries and my car note, you know? And
what's wild is in Texas the minimum wage is still $7.25 which does not pay for anything nowadays. Like,
see, that's them protesters over there by Miller, they focus on the wrong thing. They need to start protesting the minimum wage,
because they're already getting paid like 20-30.
That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, what the fuck, like they're on strike and there's like people that would love to have that job, like they would be so grateful to make what they make, and these people are like, they're just over here pissed off about it. And I'm like, dang, like some people would be grateful to be in their position. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person, like if you hate it so much or if you have so many problems, then find something else. Like why are you gonna waste everyone's time to just,
like he was saying, there's really not, like, it's hard to get a job. Like a lot of places aren't really hiring right now because they're at cap or they're not making money. Everything's kind of just like
yeah,
it's a recession, and and even some of those guys,
college degrees don't even fucking matter anymore.
That shit don't matter. Like
I would be pissed too if I worked at a job for like 5 years and I only got like 5-cent raise or some shit like bullshit like that. Like, okay, give me a good raise. I've been here so long. Come on.
I think that's why the company I work for bans unions. Because they don't give raises like that.
Right. Yeah.
I definitely think like I wouldn't even just blame the jobs. I'd blame the 25%. Yeah. But I would just blame like the prices on everything. Like fucking like eggs and milk and like just the simple shit like that. But like you think about shit like that and then you think about the grand scale of things of like apartments, homes, how much
more expensive it is to try and eat healthy. Like what the fuck? Like I want something organic because I don't want to put all these chemicals in my body.
It's like $15 with chips and a drink.
Yeah. There was a tweet that I kind of agree with. And they said we're making like 3 times as much as our parents did in the 90s or early 2000s, and we're still struggling.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's crazy because it's like they had kids.
Rent prices, housing prices, like that shit is one of the main things. Like even whenever I was like 16, my apartment was like maybe $600, $700. And I don't think like anyone would be able to find something like that now. Like even just renting a room in a house would be more expensive.
Yeah.
So times is crazy right now.
Yeah, we kind of went a little deep there.
I know.
Facts.
We're like, shit.
So do you work with like any local artists? Got to change it up, or else we're gonna keep going down the rabbit hole.
For sure. Yeah, local artists. So I think that's been one of my like main struggles. I wouldn't say like I cause it purposefully on myself, but it's like I don't like I'm a mystery guy. Like I don't really put myself out there as much as I should, which that I'm working on that this year. As far as local artists, I think the only local artist that I've worked with was Jay Vasquez. But that's pretty much it, and that's just off the strength of like knowing him, his family, and just being actual genuine friends like outside of music.
Yeah.
So I think me and him actually like get along more genuinely as friends rather than music. But every time we do like come up with something, it's definitely like a bop. It's that like but a few months back, I don't know how many months ago, but we dropped a song. It's called Down. He dropped it first, like just by himself, and then he put me on the remix. And that's our latest stuff right there. But even his last EP that he had did, I was like, I don't know, I think I had 3 features on there.
Really?
Even down the first track on that, it's called This Too Shall Pass, that EP that he dropped, and the first song I was just in the background vocals, so I didn't really do much, but he put me on a feature there. And then there's another song, it's called Bullshit, and I'm on the hook for that one. So yeah, I think when we do come up with something, it's definitely a bop, but for sure we're definitely more like good friends rather than like good co-creators, if that makes sense. So yeah, because he makes like definitely like a different type of vibe of music than I do.
That album was so emotional.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure. Especially
I think I cried maybe a couple times, and I know I got goosebumps for sure, like just like hearing the hospital in the background, like that touch to it. I was just like, damn.
Yeah, and I know I was there for a couple like studio sessions too, that when he was making that. So there was definitely like a couple times where it was hard for him to like, like to even continue something. Like, he's even talked about it, there's other sessions that I haven't been a part of, and he talks about that too at the listening party when he had it, where it took him months to finish a song because how, emotional it got for him and stuff like that. And so to me, that's kind of crazy for someone to go through that, but also like try and like make that into a song,
be that
and
open
then
it
be that hard to like finish it, but they finish it,
Right.
Because me personally, I don't think it's ever been hard for me like to really express myself in that way. Maybe I just haven't been through like something like that traumatizing or that traumatic in my life. I don't know. But hopefully, you know, if he hasn't gotten through it, you know, he gets through it, you know. But music is definitely the way to go on that end. And he definitely delivered on that and painting his story and picture and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a good album for sure.
Yeah, shout out Jay Vasquez for that, dude.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, just wrapping it up, any last things you want to say? I know you got that new EP, well, sort of new EP. It came out at the end of last year, but...
Yeah, for sure. Maybe on the Problem. That's out right now. Right now I'm working on some new stuff, which is, it's a trilogy that I'm working on. So maybe on the Problem. The next one is called It's Complicated. And this is pretty much touching on, what do you call it, my mentality of where I am on a relationship status, like not my relationship status, but like things that I've gone through with women and stuff like that, and how certain women can be like, oh, you don't know what you want, or, you know, but really it's kind of taking a trip inside my mind on why it might look like that to you, but these are my reasons for acting like that. So and then I have the third one, which is going to be a full album. It's called Better Off Alone. And yeah, that one's practically done. We just got to do like finishing touches and add pieces that are missing to us. But for the most part, it's done. And same with this other EP, It's Complicated. That one's done and should be out by the latest of July, if not earlier. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted me to preview something, I could preview something from that project. Let's do that. For sure.
Let's do that. It's on release, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's perfect, because...
We love unreleased.
Yeah.
Well, so does YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So I'll play the first song. What do I put? Connecting pair of headphones, other device, or headphones?
I guess headphones.
You haven't done this before?
I feel like we have, but I don't remember it asking that question.
All right, I'm gonna play it.
Oh, I hear it. Okay. Yeah.
She's like, I want to hear.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen. I'm like,
Let me turn it up on here. Oh, not too loud.
damn.
I guess I could play it twice.
Well, maybe more for the peeps.
Right.
We'll listen to it after.
For sure.
Later.
It's definitely a long intro, but
I can kind of hear it though.
There you go.
Dang, that sounds awesome so far.
I know. I like the beat.
IMG.
It's a vibe.
I need to hear it on some speakers.
For sure.
I like it. Dang.
Yeah.
That's the hand clapping that we were talking about.
I hear it now.
You heard it here first on the
simmer
juice.
Down, simmer
on
down.
the juice.
Dang.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was awesome.
So when you say
Appreciate
that one's gonna drop?
That one is with the It's Complicated EP, and that should drop around, the latest is July, but it could be earlier. I'm just trying to take my time with it, as far as the quality, because I definitely feel like I have a reputation now to uphold from the last one, which is maybe on the problem. And I've gotten insane feedback on quality, just quality wise, not even oh yeah, I can relate or stuff. It's like just a majority of the feedback was, who the hell mixed your shit? Who the hell mastered your shit? Like, this shit sounds insane, you know? And it's like, I mix everything. My boy IMG produces everything. He produced that beat. So everything on Maybe on the Problem he made, as well as this project and as well as the next project. But yeah, I mix everything, and I have my boy Aramis. I think he's in Florida right now, but he masters all my stuff. But yeah, so I definitely have a reputation to uphold on my quality. So I'm just trying to take my time and make sure everything's really perfect quality wise. But as well as if I feel like, oh, maybe this song should be taken out, which it's pretty stamped. All the songs that are on there right now are pretty stamped in there, but maybe I want to change up a hook or a chorus to dive in deeper, or like, you know, get off a certain verse, and that helps tell the story better. So yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. But for the most part, the project is pretty much done. It's just quality now and making sure everything sounds great.
Oh yeah, that's important, because you definitely got to take your time on, I mean, stuff like that. I think it shows for it, like, in due time. Like, once it drops, like, okay, like, you can see, like, you definitely took the time to, like, curate this and make this sound like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, anything else you want to say? Anything else, or any shout outs or anything you want to
shout out to IMG, shout out to Leo for the content, and shout out you guys for having me on here. I know it took a while, but we're finally here, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm grateful. So yeah, shout out to y'all, shout out to Duke's Podcast, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And your tattoos are awesome. I just have to say that, like,
they're not done yet.
it's freaking amazing though. The owls, like, I love
OVO.
owls.
That's not the reason why, but but shout out to OVO too. But yeah, appreciate that.
Well, this has been the motherfucking juice. Good night, world. Good night, America. But mostly to the rest of the world. No, I'm just kidding.
Good night, YouTube.
I love you, babe. Shout out, mom.
For real, shout out to the moms.
Let's go.